Okay, so it's 10 to 5. I have been up all night again. I just see yesterday because I was up all night, and then, well, the second half of the night, and then we did take a nap sometime, but it was like an hour or something, hour or two in the rainy, crappy day. And so then, whatever, and then went to bed early last night again, and then been up since 12. Or, might have been, last night was just been horrible, like just not sleeping good at all. And then by the time Stella was like, oh, it's time to get up, and then she wanted to eat. I had to make them like a midnight snack kind of thing. So I was like, I am not feeding you breakfast or your dinner already, because then it will be, you're going to be starving. Like she's eating like every couple hours. It's insane. And she's so hungry. And so is he. And he's just getting so thick too. It's like, oh. But anyways, there was a bunch of things that I had wanted to talk about, but I don't know. We'll see how they come in, because I don't know for sure if I can remember them all. There's just been so much weird shit. There's so much weird shit. And I'm just gonna just go hit into some of them. Like, I had talked about, I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago or something, about there was a guy on TikTok, and he's saying that he is a werewolf and he's from a whole werewolf group and they've been here forever, and he's being attacked and stuff like that. And like, I know that these things are real. Like, I know that all that stuff is real. Like, I've been telling people since I was a fucking kid. As soon as I saw the stuff in the movies, I was like, this is real. This is real. And people would always think I was crazy and say, no, that's the movies. And so anyways, uh, I know that stuff is real. And then they try and make it, I don't know, like, because like people come up with stories and stuff, but there's controlled information. Like, I mean, surely everybody can see that at this point. And one thing too, I'm very clear on, in the people who come to my information, some of it is to plant seeds, some of it is to give confirmation, and it is and some people, like, get what I'm saying, but it's all variable. It's every possibility. Like, I know not every single person comes in, because even when I say some stuff, I hear it in like 10 different ways. It's like, oh my gosh, stuff can be taken in so many different ways. And I just think that we need to kind of acknowledge that and be aware of it, because I think we get way too caught up, and we get way too caught up thinking that people are perceiving the way that what we think. So they think, well, this is how I take it, so they must take it the same way. And it's like, no, very, very different. And there's nothing wrong with the different ways it's taken. Like I've said, the universe appreciates all the different ways, because they all come from this string, like this bleed out of a situation where something occurs, that is the creation, that is this, like, it's like a firecracker or something, like this energetic thing, and then all the things that come from it, and that is what the universe appreciates. And so it just likes to see all possibilities. It doesn't sit there and judge all possibilities and say, well, that's a good one and that's a bad one. No, all things happen, and it's, how do all things happen? What leads to this? What leads to that? Can someone change this? What pushes them to be more like this? What changes? It is like all these angles of how you can look at things and stuff. And all the ways that you present is all appreciated by the universe. So don't ever think like you're not doing good, or you're not good enough, or whatever. You're just as appreciated as every single other person. It doesn't make a difference on the awareness. The awareness makes a difference in your own life, so that you can be more proactive in your life, and you can use your time more wisely. So, You know, that's a thing that I feel like I say all the time. But the so there's sometimes there's so many parts to some of this stuff. It's just like you see one thing, it's like, oh, and that goes with this and this. Oh man. Okay, um so the werewolf thing. So now there's and the vampire thing has been going too. But now there is a guy on the internet, and he definitely seems like, this guy's probably a vampire. And he says they're just beings, and they've been around for a long, long time, and they live off blood. And yeah, that is the thing. The handlers, the controllers, the whoever, they want us to be in fear of our environment, and instead of acknowledging and having respect, like, okay, you guys, you eat blood, but when we all respect each other, like, they're not going to go and kill us. Like, that has been periods, because I swear they have had that in movies. That one movie, I think it's called 28 day, is it 28 days of night or something? Is it like Josh Harnett or something? And it is like in Alaska, and it is a town that goes dark for 30 days or something like that, where there's no sun. And then these beings from this other world, because everything is this multi-dimensional, see, and they can travel through these dimensions where we are just, we're the primitive in this scenarios that are going on. So they are so then they go into this place, and then they feed off of, and they just wipe out whole towns. I swear to God, I think that stuff is real. I think that they have done that. I think that that has been done. And I think that they hide that information. And I think it's kind of trippy is how many people that I have seen out exploring now, coming across neighborhoods and towns where it looks like all the people disappeared. Just like everybody was just sitting there eating and disappeared. And not just like it just happened, like, oh, well, it's the rapture. No, like it happened 10 years ago or something, and nobody's come back for their stuff. Like, there's some real weird shit out there. And I still, it trips me out when one person had told me, like, this area I'm at that they act like is just being built up was 30,000 people a few years ago. Or no, whatever it was. What was that guy saying? Um, what year was he talking about? Like, maybe it was in the 50s or something. I don't know. This was an old man. And so he was talking about that it was here, and they had the train going through. It's also weird sometimes I'll hear a train. And I'm sure there must be a train somewhere around, but it's like I never see any trains or something. But all of a sudden, like, I'll just hear this train. It's probably fucking ghost trains, I swear. It's just like an energetic kind of hole in space. Because I think, like, it's like it depends on how something is linked, like, in a reality, because if that one's ending was a part of the beginning, see, then but there's other ones that I think that just continue, like that we think that it's not there, but it's there, if you see what I mean. I mean, I know some people would see what I mean. Some people would be like, what the fuck is she talking about? And some people, it's like, oh, I knew that. So it's like, it's all different things, some of us, like all of us, are speaking to each other in a language of vibration and understanding. And so there's an unspoken message, like there's a communication beyond communication. Like, we are able to communicate. Like, I mean, there's some souls that you could be by, and you could just look them in the eye, and just look in their eye, and you have all the communication you need. So it's all on a variable, of how we communicate and the depth to understanding, because some people will totally get you and other people won't at all. But that's why you got to get comfortable with yourself, because some people get caught up in all the people who don't get them, and then some people get caught up in all the people who do, because you can see the two different ways. Like, you go totally in your ego, like you're the savior of the fucking planet, or you go into nobody understands me. I was more like that. I was more like, because it was, it stood out to me because my, you know how there was all those tests going around, those personality tests going around for a while. And so we were, my girls and I were always doing these things, and oh, you're this and you're that and all that stuff. And I would come up always in the rare categories of like a 1%, 2% of the population or whatever. And then, and see, I swear to God, they are looking for this shit. There is something, I don't know what it is, it's just like, I mean, I know that there's something to the fact that I have been able to hear into the cosmos for my whole life, that I communicate on with these other beings. And so I don't have fear of things and stuff that other people are just now like waking up to and questioning. So I don't, I don't understand how all of our different minds work and stuff, but I knew that I was in a rare, for a long, long time. I always came up in all these different tests as like, a rare personality type or whatever. And, but in one of them, it was saying, when it gave the explanation of you, it was saying something about you always feel misunderstood. And my one daughter that was reading this to me, she was like, oh my God, that is so true. You always think that you are misunderstood and nobody gets you. I totally, totally feel that way. And this is the thing, is like some people can think that they do, but it's like when you're trying to express something and people keep giving you the feedback that it isn't what you are trying to get across, then yeah, I'm going to feel misunderstood. When everything I fucking say and people take it a different way than I mean it, yeah, I'm going to feel misunderstood. Like, it is like going through life speaking a different language. And, and for whatever souls that came in to go through that experience, it does, you learn things, you have to learn to be strong in your own independence. And you could see like all the multiple souls doing it and the range of effects that it has on people, because some people, fall apart. And like I said, some people go way into, like they are the chosen. They are above everybody else. And there's did I say that about the vampire guy? And he shows his teeth. He gives this whole thing. And then somebody, when he made his teeth come down, somebody said, oh, that's some kind of retractable thing in your mouth. And so the guy did another video and he showed all over in his mouth, showed it was nothing there. And then he did the same thing and made his teeth come down, and it's these little sharp razor teeth like that right here. And they just come down like little points. And he said that for us, for humans, like when we get around food and how our mouth would start salivating, like if you go to a restaurant and you smell the food, you'll start salivating and it turns on your whole stomach and you start like starving, like I've got to eat, I've got to eat. And he said that that is the same with his teeth, that it is more when that part of the food, something activates it like that, that is when his teeth will pop down. And he said trying to force them down, he said, is really painful. And it hurt. He couldn't even get them all the way back up on the one time. And another thing that somebody said to him is like, is something about the sunshine. And he's like, it's daytime right now. Like that's made up. That's not true. We're just the same as you guys. We just eat blood. And we just live off of blood, and we live for a long time. And then somebody said, well, if you've been alive for a long time, show us a picture from 100 years ago. So we went and he showed, it goes all through back in this closet, way back underneath, and gets this box out, starts pulling out all these different pictures. And he gets this one big picture. and it's kind of fuzzy, the old picture. And he said he thinks it's like from 1919. And he said that he was trying to be an actor. And so, like burlesque or something, because the picture he's like holding it, you can tell it's like a stage kind of thing. And he said he was trying to be an actor. And now, when he looks back on it, he feels really kind of disgusted with himself because of how he would have to behave, because how they would be like, well, a black person, you have to do this. And then I've said this before in all these movies. The other day I was watching an old movie, and this one woman, anybody who's older who's watched a lot of old movies would know this lady's voice. And she was used, I think they would always make her like look like Aunt Jemima or something in movies. And it would always be very stereotypical how she would act, in the way she would talk. Oh yeah, because yeah, sometimes yeah, she's Aunt Jemima, but then other times yeah, they have her in a coat and hat and purse and everything. But she always has this same character, like that she plays, that is very stereotypical. That makes black people look stupid or whatever. And so that is, I've talked about this before. I don't, like I've said, like if they said, hey, we're going to give you this part in this movie, we want you to play in this movie. You're going to be a drug addict, because of the tattoos or something, and make this whole stereotype continue. I would say, no, I'm not doing it. And that is where the people who do it, then they end up feeling bad about themselves, because this sellout kind of sense, like, because it is bringing down, and they do it for their own money. And yeah, they can always find another person who will do it. But the more of us that stand up and say, no, you're not going to make us look stupid, and then, but there was a lot of people who did. So anyways, that guy was talking about that, and talking about, that makes him feel that way now when he looks at it. He said he's always wanted to be involved in acting and stuff like that, but he said it's just really super hard to get into, especially because he's a black guy. And he said that, but so then he just transitioned into, because he was doing it a long time ago too. And so he transitioned into being more involved with scripts and stuff. So I don't know, he's involved in the entertainment industry or whatever. I don't know, I think, to me, werewolves and vampires and all that stuff is real. And these beings that go out of and go into other bodies. Oh yeah, because there's so much, with the talking of Haiti, and it's still going in all different directions. Like, there's people saying, oh, they're definitely killing our pets, and they're being seen doing it, being seen eating them. And there's other people saying, no, that's not happening. Then you have, so it's just all over the place. And now it's all over the place over Donald and stuff. But still, a lot of this stuff is to just draw attention to things, is to get us to pay attention to things, to talk about things, to notice. It's just to wake us up. So it doesn't really matter on some of this stuff what is what. It matters to get us to snap out of it and to start thinking for ourselves. And one important factor is to recognize that they have brought all these different cultures, because I just saw, this one was in Canada, I think, and they were on a beach. And they said you can't even go down to the beach anymore because all the people from India treat it like it's Bombay, and they're all just out pooping on the shoreline. And over here, we go into in North America, we go into bathrooms and stuff. And it's like, but I guess, if you come from a place where you don't have to, you just go wherever, then that's normal there. So they're bringing what's normal in their place to us. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like all these realities. It's like this giant merge of realities. And even if we are like, well, we wouldn't do that, well, that's good. Like, we need to stick with, well, we're not doing that. But how far will we go to tell somebody else how they have to live their life? Because they all have their own lessons to learn. So it's not us to run around managing everybody. And then these fucking lawmakers who want to make laws and shit to try and manage us all. But that is just an all encompassing, controlling way that they try and get us to submit to their regulations. So we have to recognize the controlling factor and recognize, like, you don't have a say over us. I loved that somebody the other day said, I'm not going to vote for red. I'm not going to vote for blue because I'm no longer wanting to be controlled. And so, yeah, you're just picking your poison. And there's a lot of us in that stage of the awakening that is like, no, this is some bullshit. It's all some bullshit. And we all have to stand up and say it's some bullshit. But we have to come together. We have to recognize, like, I don't, I don't know. I mean, because like even, how if these people are eating cats and dogs, like I had said before, like in Peru, they eat guinea pigs. Like, those are things that people keep as pets here. Those are, uh, and then the thing with the Haiti people, boy, that is really like, there's so many videos now. And, like I knew about the voodoo thing because that I on all of the stuff that was being whatever, when all of the information about the Clintons and stuff, when I was seeing all that stuff. So I don't even know, in this whole thing sometime between 2016 and 2020, because it was before that was uh in 2020 was when I started seeing the manipulation with the media and how it was affecting. That's when I started really understanding the mind control. But before that, I was already knowing about like the bad stuff going on. And that's when, we were trying to tell people. And that's already, I was been losing accounts for a long time. And so I think it was back on Facebook. I'm thinking maybe it was back on the election between Donald and Hillary or something. But that is when I started finding out, like, the drip of frozen, like that thing. And then when they got a drink made of it, it was like fucking sickening. But so that whole thing in Uma, that was around, I think, also around that time with the Wiener, when his computer got taken, because that's when they found the hidden file, the insurance file on, what's her name that I just said, and those two ladies, what they did to that kid is just, it's so fucking sickening. And then it's haunting. And then, but in all the information that you start on the rabbit holes on her, then you start finding out, what they did in Haiti and stuff like that. And then the whole shenanigans, like, oh, we're going to start orphanages, these poor kids, and all the shenanigans. And then, one thing of why she was really interested in that place and she went there so much was because she was working with a voodoo master person, like dark magic, and he was teaching her. And so she had been working with them. I swear, I heard even before that she was working with them like a long, long time ago. Like maybe when she was 30, like way before Bill was in any kind of power. And then maybe that's how she got them into power or something. I'm not sure. Like, it's been, like I said, it's been a long time. If you want more thorough information or accurate, you'd have to go look it up for yourself and see. And then we always have the manipulation of our information and too. Like things disappear, things show up, like who fucking knows. But I do think that she definitely was into those practices. But the thing is now all these people like are from Haiti and have relatives in Haiti and stuff are all speaking because there's so much about this stuff being in the news. And so they're saying, so there's some stories. And so what the deal is it's mostly Voodoo. And what's trippy too is like when I went to New Orleans with number four, it was like our last trip, like the fucking horrible trip of my fucking life. I swear to God, one part that just haunts me, and I've talked about before, but it haunts me, like it just shows up in my mind out of the blue, was that walk home, man, that one night. He was so fucking drunk, and this guy was big. He was really big, like, I swear to God, a big drunk person just knock him over, and it's like, fuck. And so, um, we were down um, at the what is that called in New Orleans? I don't know why I can't think of what it's called when you're right down in the square, the quarter. I can't think of what it means. It's called the quarter. But anyways, so we're right down there. But our Airbnb was way over in this garden district. And so, and we were staying with some other people. I don't know how we got split up at this point. The two guys were such drunks, and so so I'm walking home with my drunk, and I don't know where they are. They think maybe they stayed to party more or something. I'm not sure, but I'm walking home with my drunk ass, and I'm not drunk, and so it's a long fucking walk, so fucking long, and he's just embarrassingly like all over the place. And then once we got to this one part though, where it was like wasn't by all of these restaurants and stuff like that. It was way out, like where you're walking and it's just houses and stuff. When I started hearing these whistles, and I was like, they're signaling each other. And I was telling him, get his shit together. I was like, fucking hell, dude. You're the perfect fucking pansy, patsy. Like, yeah, who wouldn't fucking roll your ass? Like, Jesus Christ. And he just is so drunk and obnoxious. He just wouldn't shut the fuck up. And I was like having a panic. Like I'm looking, and they're doing these like whistles, and it would be like one over here, then there would be one here, and then one up there and stuff. It was giving me a fucking heart attack. There's so many situations being with him that were so stressful like that. And that is where, people do get their cortisol all jacked up, and they become a mess because they allow themselves to go through this fucking weird shit with these people. Like, god damn. Yeah, I mean that just the bullshit with him was so, he was such a drunk. And that was, like it had to get worse and worse and worse for me to finally get me to wake up to, get your shit together, Kelly. These people will take you down. They're going down, and they're going to take you with them. It's like you have to be like, hey, I deserve more. You want to go down on your own. And so, anyways, but um, when we were there and we were shopping, there was one day we were out shopping, and my daughter was dog sitting. One of my daughters was dog sitting, and she collected masks. And so I wanted to get her some masks for her collection because there's some cool ones. So we were there, and I was looking at these masks, and they were Haitian, like voodoo mat, and they were way too real. And I wanted to get her one, and then on the top of on my reference material, that drives me and stuff like that. You may remember back to the story of my one boyfriend, Paul, and his dad I think he was an archaeologist. Can't really remember now, but he had a room in their house. So he was somebody I could talk about with ghosts because his house was haunted, really, 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 really haunted, like to the point where it scared him. And the dad had all these masks he had collected, and he kept them in this room, like a library. And so he had all these fucking cool ass masks in this library, but they carry energy. And so it brought that into the house. That room was really, really haunted. And he said like the whole bookshelves, we got like all sorts of crazy things. He has so many fucking crazy stories. And then he was scared to be in his house. But I spent the night over there one night, and I don't remember. But I've lived in haunted houses for so long. But at that time, like I wasn't really sure like what the deal was with the different energetic spirits, like with the ones that were more darker and stuff, because I did live in that one house where I had experienced both different kinds of ghosts. And so because that one house that we lived in, where the one was so dark, it was so scary, and you could feel it. Man, it was so creepy. And this was a house my mom had rented after she had split up with my dad, and so we were you would sit in the living room in this vent, and all of us different sisters have talked about it, and we've all had these same stories. And so there was all sorts of confirmation that you could feel this thing watching you. And but that is the house where I had got attacked, and that is where I could just like right when I was. It's when you're falling asleep or waking up. That is a time when you are like in this space where they can mess with you. And so it was because it was like, and you get frozen, you're like paralyzed, you can't move, or you can't move, you're stuck, but you're aware. And so I was like that, I was stuck and I was aware. And came, it was like I don't remember if he came in the room or it was like he was there, and that's when I got stuck and it was frozen. But what I got the sense of, it was like he was sitting on top of me, and I could feel a weight, and I could feel in my imagery, I could see him as being like this big, kind of sweaty and drippy kind of guy, because I could feel that when he was there. I could feel this, like, he was just like, oh, God, this guy is yucky, and he's so angry and so mad. And what I had the sense of is he was trying to suffocate me. And but he can't, but they can convince you. I think that they can convince you that things are happening, and you may not see that until you go to your life review, and then you're like, you got me. But it's not as serious. But people die, and there's where people are like, what happened? Probably this kind of shit. They fucking make you think that you're dead or something, because it all has to do with our sense of consciousness, and what you believe. So it's all on what people believe and what happens, and they can trick you into stories and stuff too. And they can, there's all sorts of shit that can go, in the air. I can't even believe the amount, like right now, like when I fucking shut my eyes and try and relax, go sleep, I'm having to pop them open constantly. I constantly have some fucking being coming right up and being right. Like they want you to question them. They want you to give them your attention, and they want you to fucking meet their gaze. And that's why I have to pop my eyes open, is that it's like, no, as soon as you start looking into their eyes, it's like you start getting sucked into, like, there's so much right now too. It's mental. Like, fuck. And there's a lot going on with the Schumann resonance thing. Like there's all these E class, X classes, or whatever. So, and then where I've heard the people talking about that is causing the interference in our sleep too. So if you're having the same thing as me and not being able to sleep, then it could be with that too. But there is like this fucking huge energy in these fucking beings, man. But so it seemed like he was trying to suffocate me or strangle me or something. And he had so much hate in him. And then however I broke free and woke up or whatever it was, I pulled myself out from under his spell. And then but I had such awareness of him. I think I left that house not that long after that. Like I got kicked out back and forth from my mom to my dad's as soon as they split up. It was like you know, couldn't get along with my stepdad. I couldn't get along with my stepmom. I was back and forth to the point where he got me an apartment. But I don't think I stayed there after that. That was really scary. There was another house that my mom had too, that and it was in Colorado. So it was after she had left Texas and she went to Colorado and she bought land. We went there too, and I had got it in Pagosa Springs. Now Pagosa Springs is really built up. They had told us it was going to be really built up, and our land would have had a lot of value or whatever. But I don't like the manipulation of how they do all this stuff. So that but she was renting a house because they didn't build a house on their property. They were renting, and then their plan was to build, but you know, that all fell apart for all of us. And so, so this house she was renting, so it was off of like an old highway, but it was one that was used, I'm sure it's the main one in Pagosa, main road. And so it was like off that, and it was this old, like farmhouse, looked like an old farmhouse. And then out a little bit was a little creek that ran behind it. And it was like this old white farmhouse, I think. And I had gone there. I'm trying to think, why was I there? Because I spent the night. Oh, maybe it was because I had my second child, and then right after I had my second child, I left. So maybe this is when I was about to be leaving. Like I just had the baby. I don't know, but I stayed at her house, and it was, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. And it's so weird when you go to some houses that are so fucking haunted, and some people have no awareness of it. And she's lived in all these haunted houses, like she was my mom, so we lived in it. But see, she's in denial of all that stuff because, you know, that would be giving attention to the devil or whatever it is that the religious people think. No, yeah, because I want to talk about that one religious girl, because I was just like, oh, fucking Stepford wife, man. And so and that's all created, like the Stepford Wives show, the movie. And then it's like they've created those people, and then that wasn't good enough. Then they go, well, let's just go with the droids. We just want full-ass droids. Oh, yeah, I didn't even finish the fucking Hades story. That's what I told you, that sometimes when I see all of these things, it's like, oh, it's a lot of stuff. Okay, so on the Hades story thing, so when I looked at the masks, then I was like, it's all I could see was these are real masks. These carry real energy. Like, no fucking way am I getting her one of these. Like, I'd be bringing a spirit into her house. And so I ended up getting her just the fucking Mardi Gras masks, which I felt more safe because of all the voodoo stuff. But it didn't go with their other masks. You know, I don't even know if she kept them. But when I was looking at those, that's all I could see. And so this guy is saying, or all these different people are saying, like, that's the main religion in Haiti is voodoo. And that's what they all practice. And so there's all levels of magic there. And it's like, you like, if the people who there's people who are over other people, and so there's ones that are just, you know, not very good at it, or, you know, don't practice that much. And there's ones that are really good at it, and then there's ones that are experts. And then that is where, you know, Hillary was going to learn about it, was from these experts in the dark. And so that's a whole thing. And there's this one story right now that's blowing up, and I'm sure it's going to be viral everywhere because it's going all over. And so and this stuff is true. Like, I saw this in the movies a long time ago, and I knew this was true. It was like, I could see stuff in the movie, and no, like I can see a movie and you usually know what's going to happen through the whole movie as soon as I see it. I drive people crazy because I would start watching a movie and I would tell everybody what's going to happen. And then they would be like, oh my God. And then they would always be like, how do you do that? And I don't know. I could just see it. And that is like the same thing. When I would look at the movies and it would be certain things, I'd be like, this is true. This is true. Like when I saw Hostel, I was like, this is true. When I saw vampires, I was like, this is true. Mummy, all of this stuff. I knew everything that they were marketing is not being real was real. And so the this guy's story is then there's bunches of these stories. They're saying this is just his, but there's a whole bunch of these stories. Like this is a common thing. Like if you live in Haiti, you've all heard these stories. So and so's family member, this happened to them. This thing just moved. It looked like it just moved. You start talking about this stuff and he is one thing in their culture is about respect. And all these people are going and giving these people grief. Like I would fucking not be messing with these people personally. Like, if I had cats and dogs and should I keep them in the house? It does break my heart. I have seen him walking in videos carrying ducks and geese and stuff. It is heartbreaking because those things mate for life. And there's mates that will sit in the spot waiting for the mate to return. It's horrible. Like the lack of respect that we have for life has got to end. And there has been some videos I've seen that, like yesterday and today, and it is that animals being more humane than us. And weirdly enough, it was these two different videos, but both of them were a dog carrying its best friend that was a cat that died. And one of them, he wasn't carrying a cat, he was carrying a toy. Two, I think it was another dog who had died, who was buried. He was bringing the dog, and I think they were doing a cremation ceremony at their house. So it seems like they buried the dog, but then they were going to have a fire over where the dog's body was or something. And they had been telling the other dog that it was going to be today or something. And the dog had been keeping the dead dog's toy right next to him. And ever since the dog died, he kept the toy. It's going to be so I just wish that we would have this much compassion sometimes. So he kept the toy because, he's processing the loss of his friend. And then when they said, that they're going to do the burn and stuff, that he went out and took the toy to the place where the dog was and dug a hole and gave it to him. And then he kept putting the dirt on him. And this is something too, because this other dog had done that. He took a little dead cat, and he went and buried the cat. And they said they dig with their feet, and then stuff is so emotional. Then they put the animal in, then they use their face, their nose, to bury him, because it is like a respect of, I don't know. I don't know. We all need to get to like that. There's just like a lack of compassion, and there's a lack of humanity in humans right now. And so anyways, we have to, like have respect. Like if you're gonna fucking kill the geese, at least kill his partner so they can be together. But anyways, I think we're moving out of this range of murder. All of us just killing whatever's alive. Just saying, I want it. I'm going to consume it. I'm taking it. And so those things have to end. And it is all on these different primitive levels or whatever. But I sure the fuck wouldn't be going out and trying to start grief with these people, because this practice is very real, and it's very real to them. And I don't know what energies they pull on. If they're practicing with the dark energy and they're using it and stuff like that. So this guy said that, and like I said, that they are very big on respect. If you don't respect your elder, that's a no-go. And so this old witch woman, and people don't know who's the witch is and who's not. A lot of them don't go around looking like, hey, I'll fuck you up. They just look like regular people. So you kind of don't know who's who and what's what. And so this guy's sister was being disrespectful to this old lady. And his wife is telling the story because she speaks better English. And so she said that the sister was like, being rude, just like, whatever. And she said that the woman said 3 days. And she said sometimes they'll give them a marker of time, but sometimes she said they don't. That doesn't mean that they will always give you a marker of time. But this lady gave her a marker of time. So she said 3 days. And so the girl was just like, oh, fuck you and your 3 days shit. And so then she left. And with 3 days, she got sick and she had a temperature. They couldn't get it down. They couldn't do anything. She died. And so um, she died and was buried. And so then a couple months later, the uncle finds out that she was killed with the black magic. And so then he could rise her back up because it was not natural or something. And so he does his because he's another level above this one. So like the lady who did the spell casting, if he wouldn't have been over her, he wouldn't be able to outdo or undo hers. So he has to be another level up to undo what she's done. So that's why he could undo what she did. So 2 months, this lady was fucking gone, dead, and then she's back. And she's been back a while. She's already had like 4 babies and they all die. And they all die, the guy said, around 3 months. And they asked the uncle and that she can't keep something alive, or they can't take something that's dead or something weird. And then it makes sense. And you're not allowed to talk to her about the past. You're not allowed to tell her that she died. She's married now and keeps getting pregnant, can't have a baby. Yeah, she seems like kind of like out of it all the time. The brother said he can't even be around her. He said she's way too spooky. He can't be around her. He said it's not her. She's different. And that's the thing. Is what I picked up on when I was watching these movies before, is that it's not the same soul. Like even when they put like in what was it, Stephen King did the one with the Pet Cemetery. It's not the same. Even those ones, because that story is a real story. They show it in the movie, in the show, was that called, Out of Bounds or something? But that is a real place, which is close to here. I have to pass it to get to Yakima. So in Ellensburg, there really is a big pit. In the show, they make like the pits like in North Dakota. No, I think they make it in Wyoming. And there probably is. They're probably all over the place. But this one in Ellensburg, this story really happened that they show in this show. So this big pit, and so it was out in land. The guy bought his land, and so when he's out looking at his land, and I don't know, I think he had lived there for a while. I don't think he just got it, went out and saw it. No, it was like, go buy 100 acres, you don't know all your land or whatever. So he bought this piece of land, and then on the land it ended up being this big hole. Nobody knew what this hole was. Well, then it was people were using the hole to dump stuff in. And so then he started trying to figure out what's the deal with this hole. And he was putting down these measuring things, like trying to put fishing line. He was trying to figure out like, how far is it? Where does it go? What's down there? And all that stuff. And it would just go and go and go and go and go. And then there was a neighbor whose dog died, and he threw the dog in the hole. And then the next day, the dog was out walking around, exact same dog, exact same collar, but the dog didn't know him. And this was all the way back when I was a kid, and this movie haunts me. Like, this is a movie that I wish I could remember what it was. It's like one of those movies you saw when you were a kid, and you just have those certain scenes that just like terrorize you. It's like, man, I wish I could see this movie again to see like, like it couldn't have been this scary, but it was this pit. And like, I knew that these pits were real all this way back when I was a kid. Like, I knew this was real. And so in this movie, and I swear it was like a trilogy, And this was the third story. And I'm positive I saw it at the movie theater. And so it was like a three-story, which there was a lot of these kinds of things there for a while. And so and it was like ghost stories or something. I think one of the stories might have been The Lady in White, which we had that in Dallas too. The Lady of the Lake, the White Rock lady ghost. She's been seen all over the place. She'll get in your car. People have driven, and then they stop to let her out, and there's nothing back there but water. There's all sorts of stories on her. And even when I was a teenager, people used to drive down to White Rock and try and see her, because she would walk around out there, and she would be this white, like long white dress or something. Anyways, that was that's known folklore in Dallas. Well, it used to be when Dallas was smaller. Who knows what people know now? It was like these metropolises, and this stuff gets lost. So I don't know. But I'm positive that was one of the stories, though, in this movie. But in the third one, I can just remember, because it went back in time a little, but it was more like showing like a more rural people. And so they were dressed more like overalls and more, not, there was a real difference in the rural life and the city life. And so it was like more like that. And then in this little town, there's this hole. And I don't remember, like, did the hole just all of a sudden show up? I don't remember all of the details. But so this hole, that like they didn't know what to do about this hole or something. And they were doing the same thing, trying to find out, what's down there, looking, throwing things down and stuff. And so then they decide to send somebody but down. The one in Ellensburg, that is what somebody had said. Well, let's put somebody on a thing and go down. And then they were like, no. I mean, but they were saying, well, maybe it could be some gases or something, especially with all that garbage down there. It could kill them. So they were doing that. But, also, you can be entering another world. And so in this story, they decided to take this guy who was like the town retard or something, and put him in it, and lowered him down in the hole. And then he starts screaming and screaming, and then they pull him up and then he takes off running, and just kept running and running, and he was really scared. And that is the part that I always think about with that hole. And it was like I knew that, like, there's other worlds, like I knew there's other realms and stuff. And so that's the same thing with all of these, like, these portals, and that is kind of why, our like, in some places we're having, like, the ground is giving out. And oh yeah, and there's a lot of activity. I saw a guy who was showing all the activity around the volcanoes. There's a lot of activity around the volcanoes, of course, and there's a lot of activity with the earthquakes. And so there's these hurricanes. Fucking New Orleans is getting slammed. In New Orleans, Louisiana is supposed to be gone. California's supposed, like, any of these storms that are hitting right now can be like, anything can happen. And but I still feel like that there's a lot of this, trying to, things are so bad to try and get people to, go other places or other directions or something. It's just all about the awakening and how it affects you, whatever. So so let me think. I finished saying about that. So there's all these things going, so much stuff going. I swear to God, we are in such a chaotic time. There is so much chaos. Like, I can't even believe anybody could sleep through all this chaos. The energy is so intense, man. And I feel super excited. Like, I know things are gonna be switching and getting better, but there's like so much intensity, because there's lots of people who don't. They don't know it's getting better. They're all in fear and scared and stuff. So there's very chaotic energy. And then there's all these people who are, really mad about the refugees and all these new people coming to their towns and stuff. Well, what if this was just people who were just moving? I mean, what if these are the developers? The developers do those kind of shit. But all of a sudden, when it's people coming from other cultures and other places, and then they're getting things for free and stuff, then we start getting mad about what is it that we all really want? We all want to be able to move freely. We all want to have money to be able to live freely and stuff. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that we should be getting mad at people about this stuff. Like, this is the kind of stuff that we want. We want everybody to push more into this, like, freedom, freeing us from humanity and stuff. And there's still so many people who are caught up in the programming of, like, well, we need the rules and the rulers and the laws and the lawmakers, and we need governing officials because people don't know how to act and stuff. But, things have to change because these governing officials are just trying to ruin us. They aren't here really to try and help us build towns that are safe for us. Are you fucking kidding me? They're the ones that are creating all of this hysteria and chaos. So, yeah, we have to say, hey, we don't need your shit anymore. And then, yeah, if there's people from different cultures and different places, then we're going to have to, all learn to get along. I don't know, Donald is saying if he gets in the very first day, he's deporting everybody. Like, I don't know how it's all going to go. Like I had said before, it seems like some of these places are going to call their people back in order to get money. And maybe some of these places, because, they're getting these people. Like, these people don't have all this fucking money to be traveling to come over here. They're taking people from Venezuela and Haiti. Like, they are getting these people over here and then giving them money and stuff to the point where it's like, well, is it dangerous where they are? So they're just trying to move them someplace where it's safe. And then knowing that that is good for the soul's growth, because then we have to be pushed in all these directions, and the media and all of them are going to try and manipulate us and get us to see things the way they want us to see things. And so it's all a challenge for us to pull into ourselves and see what it is that we see. Because they'll keep telling you, no, that's not what you see. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. You have to become more sure of yourself and trust yourself. So all these different things, give us, and it brings people together, and a lot of people come together in hate and division right now, but that's something for them. They're going to have to recognize, like, you can't run around. How exhausting. You're going to run around trying to point out to every single person what it is they're doing wrong. It's like, everybody's got to figure it out for themselves. And you have guides. Your guides are there to help you. So, that's each person's own endeavor, their own pathway. So it's not, I don't know. There's just things that we just don't need to worry about. Like, and the things that are there that are affecting you, they're meant to be there and affect you because it's to promote you to make some kind of difference, a change or something. Like, and then, a lot of the things, like, you can be affected by it because you want to be affected by it, but it really has no effect on you. You're not there. Like, I could sit here and be like, oh my God, they're stealing the dogs, they're stealing the cats, oh my God, when I don't even know for sure. Hasn't happened to me, and I'm just creating drama. So there's people who are doing that. It has nothing to do with them, but they're just buying onto the, oh my God, the immigrants, oh my God, this, oh my God, that, it's all, and you got to, that's where the drama is created, is people insert themselves into dramas. And I think that is a part of a distraction, because I know when I used to create drama, and I was thinking about this the other day too, I think a part of my creation of drama was like the part of me always feeling misunderstood and always trying to get somebody to understand me. So like, it would be one of my daughters would get mad at me about something, and I would go to the other daughter, well, do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? But they're a group. They all have their own perspective. You're always the odd man out. So I was always the one who was misunderstood. I was always the one who was like, I it was always yeah, I don't know, it was always me. It was always my problem or something. So, anyways, I think that that is where, um, or I would create drama or something. But I think drama is a distraction that keeps you from being able to really do the work and focus on you and heal your stuff. It's just to keep you um, distracted. And so I think it's important to be aware, like if you're trying to, whatever your reason is, sometimes they can be, not, it's not like evil reasons why you do things, but still it can be toxic things to you, even though your intention is not evil. Your intention could be good, but also then when you go into your intention being good, then you got to look at, is it being needy? Is it being desperate? What is it I'm trying to get here? Why do I feel like I need to do this? What am I doing? And so it's just to, question yourself and understand yourself. So when you're doing something like calling somebody, like you get all upset about something and then right away you have this feeling, oh, I got to go call so and so. It's like, why? Because I want to go talk about it. But why do I want to go talk about it? Do I just need a process? Do I need another person to process through it? I mean, am I going to disrupt their day? Do I need to just sit with this? Do I need confirmation? Do I need somebody else to tell me I'm right, you're okay, you're right? Like just go through it and see. And then, I think we start noticing like, oh, I'm having a bad day, so I got to call somebody else so they can make me feel good, so they can walk me off the ledge. And who cares about their day? Like the more that we can take care of ourselves and the more that we can manage ourselves, the more the central air becomes breathable for us all, because right now it's very intense. Everybody's like on edge. Everybody's like freaking out. There's people who are scared to death of dying and they think that they're going to die. And death isn't real because this isn't real. This place isn't real. This is, it's a real place, but it's not a real life. It's, it's like, just like if you went, living your regular life and you went to the movie theater, watch a movie, and then you got all caught up in the movie and you didn't want to leave the theater, but you have a whole life outside of there. You have a whole family, you have a job, you have a place you live, but no, now that's your life, that place. This is all that matters, is you are in this world of this movie, and that's all there is. And that's, in the same way as where you would think, well, how could somebody get that whacked out? Go to the movies and all of a sudden they get amnesia and they can't remember that they don't live at the movies. But like, look around. Like, it seems to be pretty easy. I don't know if they just do it through manipulation and distraction and programming, but each soul allows it. And if each soul allows it, it's because each soul is using it for its own benefit. So it's learning from the situation. This one was a woman I had just seen, and she was talking about her NDE. And so she said when she was 21, she died. And then she went and she was talking. She said, right, as soon as she died, she had her guides and her angels were right there with her, which to me, your guides and your angels are all kind of the same kind of thing. Like you have, I guess you could say you're like your angels, like your supporters, like your team that is cheering you on through life, that is there whispering to you, trying to give you direction, reminding you to take an umbrella, reminding you to, don't forget to pick that up today or whatever. They're there. But then you also have your guides. But like I said, there's certain times where it's silence. They can't just tell you everything all the time. And so she said that as soon as she had died, and they took her, she said, up into like the heavens. And she was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm staying here now. Like, this is cool. And they said, no, you're not staying. You're going back. And she's like, no, I don't want to go back. And they said, well, too bad. You got to go back. You got to stay there. You're just getting started. Like, and they said, in this conversation where she's arguing with them, they said, hey, you chose all this. This is what you wanted. We told you it was going to be hard. We told you were trying to do too much and you still wanted to do all this. That is what I have been saying so much. How many times have I said that about these souls? They get in here and then they're all whiny about how hard things is. And it's like the souls are so in ego when they choose these, like, oh, I can manage that. I can do that. That's no problem. And then they get in here and it's like, oh, who made me do this? I don't want to be here. It's like they totally forget so fast. And so that's what her guides were sitting here telling her and saying, oh, you chose all this. And we tried to tell you it was going to be hard. We tried to tell you you were doing too much and you wanted to do it. So now you're doing it and you don't get to leave. This isn't your time to go. And they told her when she was leaving, they said, you're leaving when you're 67. And she said, when you're 21, 67 sounds like a long ass time. And she was like, fuck, I don't want to be here that long. But that's how much it is at our home. As soon as you transition, however it is, like, you don't have to go through all this death. Like, it's like, as soon as it's your time, they're there. You don't have to go through this like slaughtering or whatever that everybody thinks that happened to you. That's their part of the story. That's for them to go through. And but you don't go through that. You just go right into your guides and all of that, and you have some, that'll be cheering you like, oh, fuck yeah, you did it. Broke that, you did so good. And then you have, it would be all different things. Like, you'd have celebrations, and sometimes I'm sure you pass over and it's just like, it's very traumatic. And you leave in a very quick thing. And that's how we get these bindings, these energetic bindings. That is where we keep going, or you can call it karma or whatever. But you have to keep going to release yourself. And so, it would be a lot of different things that go on. But you have this team that's there right with you as soon as you are leaving. Mostly what I always hear is that people when you are leaving for good, not for just, so they can remind you what you're doing here, but when you are actually leaving the game, then you go through the review. And so you look through, you go through and you see yourself, you replay your life and you see it, but then you replay it again, only you see it from everybody else's perspective. So how you affected other people. So you get this whole big thing. That's why I said so much of your learning comes in the review. And that's why I said so many of these people who don't die, they don't evolve like those of us who do. And and I don't know, like, with some of these people, vampires and werewolves and stuff, and if there are other beings from other places, they aren't even on this reincarnation kind of cycle thing as those of us who are. Those of us who are earthlings that are in this reincarnation kind of cycle, like these soul cycles, that we are the storylines, the creation, the movies. We are it's like we are the stars of the universe. Like, we are, the same way as like what we look at movies and we see, movie stars and they're in the movies and they're playing all these parts and all that stuff. That is like what we are. So the people who go into these reincarnations and these storylines to play them out, which is tons and tons and tons, but that is such an important part for the universe's growth, is, those of us who do go in and experience and it's like, the experience is the creation of possibilities, in how possibilities affect you. How do possibilities change you? What changes your mind? How does your mind change? What gets you to be the way that you are? What gets you to change who you are? Like, all these things are what we are showing. And not only are we just showing it, we're learning and growing from it. So that is why, this big, harvest, this big ascension time, like, this is like such a big thing for all of us who have been doing that, because this is like the end of a cycle, like a completion. So we have completed these soul cycles, and so it's like a celebration. So that's why I think the cool part about it is that we don't die, we stay alive. And you know what's also weird is that woman's body, 2 months. So that must be the part where they're saying if they are killed in the black magic, that you can bring them back. The only thing is that once the soul leaves the body, then you are reanimating it with something else. There's some other energy, some like a possession kind of thing. And then it, I mean, all the ones I've seen where they are like zombie like, they are like in a reduced state of consciousness, which is almost like, to me, where they're taking these consciousness and putting it in robots, like they're stealing people's consciousness and then they're putting it inside of robots or computers or whatever, all the weird shit that these mad scientists are trying to do or have been doing. Like all this stuff, like, man, they could have been doing that fucking 100 years ago. It would not surprise me at all, because it's so far beyond, their technology is so far beyond what they're even close to disclosing to us. And I think that's why we're being hit so hard too by these certain information, because it's trying to bring us up to speed, because there's so much coming so fast, it's kind of overwhelming to people. And because we gotta catch up, we gotta, it is going to be like going from the Flintstones to the Jetsons. And so it's like a big jump. That's why it's going to be this big quantum leap. But that is why all of this awakening stuff has to occur, so that you are ready. Because okay, so on this religious thing, let me see if I can even explain it the right way, because I don't know that I can explain it right. It's like, but what I can see it. I just don't know if I can explain what I see. So this was a video, and so it was in Kentucky. So I don't even know if they've got the other guy, which there's weird things about him. Like, he's got the same name as the FEMA CEO or something. Like, there's lots of weird shit. All this stuff has got weird shit, man. And so I don't know if they've even caught that guy. Then they have another one going now. Or no, this was, so it was, I think it was the 10th. And yesterday on my phone, I had looked down at my phone and it was 111 on the 11th. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. But then somebody did a video and they saw it too. I was like, oh, that's so weird. How many of us saw that at the exact same time? It's 111 on the 11th. Oh, like, that was trippy. But so this, let's see now, I go off on a side thing. So where was I? The people, this guy, what the hell was I talking about? Alligators? No, but people eat alligators. People eat squirrels. People eat rats. I fucking have seen people, I saw live where they were barbecuing and they had one of those rotisseries going, and every rotisserie was either a skinned cat or it was a rat, giant ass rat. That's one thing too. Like in New York and stuff, they're getting these grocery carts and stuff, and they're turning them into grills and stuff. I was like, well, we could be learning from these people. And look at it, like a kid having a lemonade stand will get harassed by the police. Where's your fucking permit? But these people, they're out there just selling food on the streets, cooking things, cooking cats, cooking, like, that's so weird. It was, I don't know how they do it. It's like if they have the fire thing, but why doesn't it do the plastic, the rubber, or whatever, the cart? And then they have the grill up and it's holding their, I don't even know. Like, you'd have to see it in person, but that's why I was like, man, we could learn some stuff from these people, because we haven't had to live like this before. And then everybody's freaking out. Well, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to do that. It's like, yeah, but what if that is the part where it's bringing you down to become more human? so that you remember who you are, so that you're like, hey, I can rock an island. I can live out in a fucking, I can live in a teepee. I can live in a hut. I can live however the fuck I want to live. And, I don't need 2-car garage and 5 TVs in my house and all this shit. So, that just keeps us trapped in all their fucking spend some money, buy, buy, buy. It's like, oh, I need more. Oh, God, they got a new one. Oh, they got a different color one. Well, I got to get one in each color. It's like we just become such consumers, man. What did I, so the people with the, eating the animals and doing the voodoo. Oh, yeah, okay, so the guy who got, so they got the voodoo. What was that one? Was the guy 2 days? No, there was the guys who were zombie people. The pits. More people are noticing the portals opening up in the sky. And there's some weird stuff that definitely looks like there's frequencies. So I think they're definitely jacking up the frequencies. There's people looking at the radar things, and you can see it's moving weird. And so I think it's their interference. It could be energetic. They've got so much stuff going. And then there's definitely the planes and stuff are so much louder. Like, I swear, it's like the firmament, like this energy, like the planes can't go up higher. It's like everything is coming down on us. It's like this energy is coming down on us. But that is where we're going to blow it. And that is like all this tension and chaos and anger and stuff. And I think that is like a part of this flipping the energy. And it's us that do it. We're the ones who make the change that we want. And we have been being manipulated and controlled to create this other world. And like, I can see it so clearly. What was the other thing? Because I could see it so clearly and then I didn't finish saying it. What was that? Something with dogs, something with some guy, a different state, a different country. There's just so many things. Like, there's so many things. I have so many videos going in front of my thing. Whatever it is, I've been talking for a long while. I don't know if I finished saying anything really. But anyways, there is, everything that people believe is supernatural and stuff, that's all real. Like, you have to just really get it in your head that, everything is a lot more supernatural than you think. What was it? The person dying and then coming back, getting taken, like the zombie people. Oh, I know as soon as I finish, I'm going to remember what it was and be, damn it, well, I'll say it tomorrow. But you know how many things all day long and all night long. Oh, I'll say it tomorrow. And then I get into the thing and it's like, oh my God, what were all those things? And there's so many. It's like, there's just so many little things. There's just so much going on. And it just is important, to just really stay centered and stay focused on you and understanding, there's nothing to be scared of. That this is all a natural order, and things are leveling out. And it is so much of us, the things are breaking apart because we don't want it. We don't want this anymore. We don't want this world. We don't want to live like this. So it's all breaking apart. So it's going to keep breaking apart because more and more people keep seeing it. Oh yeah, I have a video where I'd seen where there is more people, I think, that are starting to realize like the awakening's just about to go down. Like, they all think, oh, well, I'm so awake. Oh, you got these people, I'm so woke, I'm so awake, I'm so this, all this stuff. But it's about to go down. Like, the big part. That is going to go when the lights come on. And you'll see, because there's going to be so many people who think that they were awake who are going to wake up in this part. And it's going to be very dramatic whatever, however it goes down. I just always see it as like the lights coming on. Like all of a sudden people just see. But it's going to be a complete flip of the energy, that is what's going to get them to see. Is all of a sudden they're going to see the things they didn't see. They're going to see what was hidden from them. And that is what's going to give them a huge, whole new perspective. It's going to just wake them up to like, oh my God, how did I not see this? And that is what it's going to, just going to be this whole domino effect towards healing. And the people, woulda, shoulda, coulda, why didn't I, how did you, what's wrong with me, it's going to be this whole healing thing. And it's, there will be more guidance. There'll be lots of people like me and videos and stuff like that to help people along, to give them guidance. But the thing that you got to go towards is your guides. Go towards your internal communication. That is what you've got to really lean into, because everybody's life patterns and stuff is all unique. So even if I tell you all of the stuff, that I'm shown, or what I'm supposed to do, or how I see it, or all those are a part of my lesson plan. I mean, everybody has their own unique one. So you have to wake up to getting close to your guides, trusting your guides, trusting the universe, trusting yourself, learning how to love yourself, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's up to you. So that's what we got to do. Talk to you later. Bye.